Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm sure you can already tell I'm playing Football Fusion once again, but today's video is going to be a little different. I'm going to be giving y'all some tips on how to be better in every position. We're going to be starting with wide receiver, so let's get straight into it. Tip number 1 of being a wide receiver is to never ever zigzag. So if we watch Angel right here, you'll see he's zigzagging all over the place and it confuses the quarterback. He eventually just throws it, but since Angel was just zigzagging all over the place, I intercepted it instead. Tip number 2 is to use quarterback's directions. You'll see in the top left that I type left in chat so the quarterback knows to throw it to their left. If I said right, it would have been the other side of the field and I wouldn't have caught the touchdown. Tip number 3 is to always jump. If you watch closely, the guy in front of me doesn't jump, but luckily I'm behind him and I was able to catch the ball. Otherwise, it could have been easily intercepted. Tip number 4 is to try to always run on the sidelines. If you run on the sidelines with the ball and you get fumbled, then they can't recover the ball because the ball will 99% of the time go out of bounds. Tip number 5 is to never jump to get the quarterback's attention. If you do successfully get the quarterback's attention by jumping and then they throw it to you and it's a high ball, you will not be able to catch it because there is a 4-second jump cooldown. Tip number 6 is to always start running towards the ball if you know it's going to be lower. You'll see here that if I didn't start running forward, the wide receiver right behind me would have caught it because I was originally behind him and they would have gotten the down and I would have completely missed the interception. Tip number 1 for being a runner is to never start running backfield no matter what. If you watch the other guy on the team that has the ball, he could have gained like an extra 10 yards if he just didn't start running backwards to try to juke. Tip number 2 is to just knee if you miss the catch during a punt. If you miss the catch and then you start running, the defensive backs on the other team will already be really close to you and you'll just lose a ton of yards, so just knee. Tip number 1 of being a kicker is to always use max power. It's surprising how much I see people don't do this. When you use max power, it obviously kicks the ball higher, and first it makes the ball harder to block, and if you're further back, there's just a higher chance you'll make it in. Tip number 2 is to start running towards the ball before you're able to. If you start running towards the ball before you're able to, then you'll start running immediately and there'll be a less chance of people being able to block the kick. Tip number 1 for being a blocker is to not run all the way back to where the ball is on a punt. It's really important to keep some distance between you and the runner because you need to be able to block the rushers that are heading towards the runner. Tip number 1 for being a quarterback is to fake run. You'll see here that I fake run and it makes the defensive back start running towards me and it leaves the wide receiver open. Tip number 2 for being a quarterback is to try to never throw an interception. Interceptions are the things that hurt your passer rating the most. Tip number 3 of being a quarterback is to throw the ball behind the field goal if you need to throw it away. I see so many quarterbacks throw the ball at the ground trying to get rid of it and they get intentional grounding with like a 50-yard penalty. So throw it behind the field goal in front of you. Those are all the tips I have for y'all today. If these tips did help you in any way, make sure you like and subscribe as it helps my channel out. Feel free to leave a comment as I read them all.